The spirit of Texas on 12.
This is KBMT 12 News with Gene Tuck. Storm Team meteorologist Paul Hager. And sports with Randy McElvoy.
Right now we have 7 suspects in custody. We believe there's one left in the woods tonight. We'll be just driving the roads and looking for him.
The Hardin County Sheriff talking about the arrest of a gang wanted for robbery. Good evening and thanks for joining us. The Sheriff's Department called in help from area law enforcement agencies to capture the young men. At least 8 suspects were thought to be hiding in the woods and brush off Highway 418 near Villa Road between Kuntz and Silsbee. The DPS brought in a helicopter from Houston, and that was how the suspects were spotted hiding. They had abandoned the stolen van after a deputy spotted them on the highway. The van was stolen from a church in Village Mills. It was driven to Silsbee, where the gang robbed a man, reportedly at gunpoint, and soon after that, the huge manhunt began.
We probably had about 40 officers from Beaumont Police Department, Sour Lake, Kuntz, Silsbee, and Lumberton, as well as Hardin County Sheriff's Department and some of the constables here in the county. And we were successful in catching 7. They were scattered out over probably a 800 acre area before we captured them. But we do have 7 in custody. We believe they're all gang members from the Beaumont, Texas area.
Holzapfel said the young men will be charged with auto theft, armed robbery, and eluding arrest. No guns have been found as yet. A busy night in Beaumont tonight. The fire department had a tough time with a fire in a garage in the 5900 block of Meadowway, and the man was shot at Grant and Brooklyn. He's at Baptist Hospital, and police are looking for a suspect. Port Arthur police say an officer shot to death Terry Tharp, Jr. in self-defense last night. The shooting was followed by a standoff in Port Acres. It lasted several hours. Beverly Brooks reports.
Police officers went to this home on 60th Street to settle a disturbance. 22-year-old Terry Tharp Jr. reportedly started arguing with the police and pointed a shotgun at an officer. That's when police killed Tharp. The fatal shot also hit Terry Tharp Jr.'s father, Terry Tharp Sr., sending him to an area hospital.
I heard the shot. I was in the house when I heard the shot. And then the SWAT team was out here. I had a lot of dealing with them.
The standoff didn't end with Tharp Jr.'s death. Police surrounded another relative barricaded in the home. They spent 3 hours securing the residence and kept neighbors from returning home. The man barricaded inside finally surrendered. Officers are still guarding the home. They say it's to prevent retaliation. In Port Acres, Beverly Brooks, KBMT 12 News.
The elder Tharp was not seriously wounded. Police in Groves believe Malin Joseph D'Artez killed his elderly parents and then took his own life. Ernest and Lily D'Artez were found dead in their home on 25th Street last night. Their son's body was found there too, along with notes indicating it was a double murder and suicide. A neighbor said it was hard to believe that it had happened.
Well, it shocked us. All the neighborhood, it shocked everybody to find out what happened.
Police believe the son was depressed when he shot his parents. Armed gangs have driven relief workers out of some towns in Somalia. Jim Laurie reports that the arrival of U.S. troops is eagerly awaited by most people there.
A celebration in this totally shattered city. It's a bit of a luxury, but it was part of the reaction here this week to the news that American troops are coming ashore. Most Somalis seem genuinely excited by the prospect.
The United States is ready to help us. We welcome them. As you know, really, we are very happy, really, to welcome American soldiers.
Somalis who have seen their nation torn apart by nearly 2 years of civil war and famine seem naively to believe the Americans will solve all their problems. Problems which are created right now by the young Mad Max gunmen who rule most of the roads and make an international aid agency's work impossible. Dealing with extortion and guns is a daily routine for aid workers.
Dealing with Somalis requires a lot of patience, a lot of talking, and people here are inclined to wave guns very readily. even shoot rounds off over one's head.
The first objective for U.S. Marines will be securing Mogadishu's port. The various gunmen there told us they'd offer no opposition. Also in the first hours, Marines will take the international airfield, which Pakistani UN forces have had difficulty keeping open for aid flights. The next step is to broaden security along the roads leading out of the capital. There is concern here about the length of time it will take to move food out to more remote areas. It is inland 4 to 6 hours by road, where the need is greatest. In many rural areas, 50 to 100 people are dying each day. It is that fact that convinces many Somalis that American troops are the only answer.
There won't be any resistance at all in this operation. People will welcome it. The whole Somali community are set up from fighting, and everyone is looking forward to getting law and order back.
If only it were that simple. Law and order, an end to clan warfare, will not come as a result of Operation Restore Hope. At best, it will come only after U.S. forces have turned over responsibility to UN peacekeepers a few months from now.
But this week, Somalis will keep their eyes to the sea, awaiting an American landing which at least gives hope that recovery may be about to begin.
We do have some good news tonight. The first food shipments in days got out of the port and were taken to areas where people are dying. About 28,000 troops from the U.S. and other nations are participating in the operation in Somalia, or will. Some of them are already headed overseas. At McGuire Air Force Base this morning, military personnel were saying their goodbyes and boarding planes. Troops are being warned that what they see in Somalia will affect them like nothing else that they've ever seen before. There's a kind of war in India, a religious war. A new wave of religious violence threatens to destabilize India. Today, tens of thousands of Hindu militants demolished a 430-year-old Muslim mosque to clear the site for a Hindu temple to be built. They attacked with pickaxes and crowbars. The government has declared its highest security alert. In Munich, Germany, an estimated 350,000 people took part in a candlelight demonstration against racism. The demonstrators braved icy temperatures as they marched through the streets, showing their opposition to neo-Nazis and skinheads who have been attacking foreigners in Germany. Earlier in the day, a Croatian national was killed and 9 others injured in a firebomb attack in that city. Did Richard Nixon try to do something even dirtier than the Watergate break-ins while he was president? New Yorker magazine says he did. The magazine says still secret White House tapes show that Nixon favored planting George McGovern campaign literature in the apartment of the man arrested for shooting Alabama Governor George Wallace. The plan allegedly was foiled because the FBI sealed off the apartment. McGovern, you remember, ran for president on the Democratic ticket. Next on our news, some anger over a Trinity River plan, and we'll explain something new, the Black Pages. Some officials along the Trinity River are upset over a government study recommending a buyout of only some homeowners in flood-prone subdivisions along the river. The Corps of Engineers is reanalyzing its draft report. It comes from a 2-year study of the 700-mile-long Trinity River Basin, which has been hit by a series of devastating floods in recent years. The lotto jackpots are going up. In Texas, there was no winner last night, so Wednesday's drawing will be for at least $5 million. And in Louisiana, it will be double that, $10 million, because nobody matched all 6 numbers last night. We'll show you the numbers Wednesday night and Saturday night here on Channel 12. Something new in Southeast Texas. Details were revealed tonight. Folks invited to a business mixer in Beaumont tonight were told about the new Black Pages. They are sort of like the Yellow Pages, but are limited to black-owned businesses and companies which have promoted blacks to high-ranking positions.
And for the vast number of businesses that have opened in our area, it is just not known to the black community. And this will give our black children opportunity to see what kind of black businesses that they have now.
Businesses throughout Southeast Texas are being solicited to buy space in that publication. Coming up, Paul Hager's weather report, and we'll look at art that depends on staying cold, very cold.
Tonight's weathercast with Paul Hager is approved by the American Meteorological Society and the National Weather Association.
Some of the coolest sculptures in the country are on display in New Orleans. Top chefs demonstrated their skill at carving ice sculptures in a public competition. This is part of a month-long Creole Christmas festival in the French Quarter of New Orleans. The contest rules allowed those chefs to fashion the huge blocks of ice into whatever they fancied, and there was quite a variety. I don't think it's cold enough in New Orleans for those to last too long, though, huh, Paul?
No, they probably should ship them off to Fairfield, Idaho.
Oh, it's cold there, I bet.
28 below zero this morning, but they warmed up. It was 13 this afternoon.
Wow.
I think ice sculpture there would last until March, at least. Let's take a look at what the weather's doing winter-wise around the rest of the country. Snow in the mountains of California, and that's important for those folks, not only for the skiers, but to store up water for the drier summer months. Already a foot of snow around Lake Tahoe, and it's still coming down. Winter storm warnings remain in effect. Also some snow falling across the central plains into the western Great Lakes. Gales continue along the eastern Great Lakes and out along the northeast coast. Very strong windy conditions there. Rain in the southeast, but things quiet and dry across the state of Texas. Temperatures were cold not only in Idaho, but over a large part of the United States. It's December now, and you expect wintry temperatures. Highs only in the 20s and 30s over much of the central and northern sections of the country. Clear out to the eastern seaboard and all the way out to the western side of the Rocky Mountains. Just the coastal temperatures remaining above freezing along California, Washington, and Oregon. How about temperatures in Texas? Well, our high showed some variety today. It was only 34 this afternoon in El Paso. Amarillo made it to 41 degrees. Look at the warm-up, though, in the Rio Grande Valley, 58 for Del Rio. Along the coastline, the clouds restricted temperatures, holding to around 50 degrees in most areas. Inland, 40s for Lufkin, but where the clouds broke, it warmed up, 56 at Dallas and 60 for Midland. Temperatures right now range from 40 in Midland to 49 in Corpus Christi. Very chilly around Amarillo. How about our temperatures here? Well, right now we have 50 degrees, overcast skies, 81% humidity, steady pressure at 30.11 inches. Our high today, 53, the low 41. The records 79 and 22 were safe, and 2/100ths of an inch of rainfall. Now, the key to our forecast is whether or not those clouds will hold for tomorrow. Looks like they're going to move away. That means some sunshine, and with that, a pretty good warm-up across southeast Texas and southwest Louisiana. We'll also see some moisture starting to come back over South Texas, not so much because of any changes in the weather pattern during the day tomorrow, but because we'll already see the leading edge of that